Ladies and gentlemen, hello, this is Khan Orrick coming to you again with another episode of Shogun 2 Total War Multiplayer. Now, we're going to take this a little bit slow moving forward. We're in basically the Valley of Death over here. We have two buildings in the center, a shrine and an archery dojo. My troops are pretty well balanced. I have a couple units of spearmen up front, a group of skirmishers behind, warrior nuns on my right, my own katana samurai on my left, and two units of Yari cavalry on the flanks. The Yari cavalry till just now are pretty much hidden. You'll see them both kind of shift up into the forests. Matching me is we have a unit of Yari cavalry. You'll see a unit of fire cavalry appear in just a second right over here. Some kind of expensive units. And he's opting for much more of a how do I put this, a column formation. Bow Ashiguru up front, Naginata attendants and sword attendants behind, katana samurai, and one unit of Yari Ashiguru. Of course, his own general brings up the rear. If you go 1-to-1 in terms of units back and forth, for the most part his troops can actually take me on in a fight, in a long-term fight, assuming he gets some kind of favorable engagements. Yeah, we can see the battle begin to develop already. I've sprinted one of my units of cavalry up here to the forest to kind of hide on his flank, fully intending that as he moves forward to sweep around to the side and take him out. But he sees that, marches his own troops around. I think it's the Yari cavalry. Yes, Yari cavalry. So it's kind of a waste at the moment. Kind of a wash, rather. Meanwhile, my own Yari cavalry in the trees, waiting for his own fire cavalry to move forward. And everyone else is moving forward, as you can see here. I'm sure you're kind of wondering why I didn't use these two things as breakwater, setting up my troops right in between the two of them. But to be honest, my first concern was worrying about his cavalry on the sides. And I figured that if I moved forward, I wouldn't have enough opportunity to pull him out of the trees, so my own cavalry can take him in the flank. Moving forward a little bit here. You'll see him be extremely confident, almost overly so, as his fire cavalry charges right towards my Yaris. Unfortunately for him, no one seemed to mention to him that Yari cavalry is way better on the charge, a fact that is borne out in the initial engagement. And at this particular point, I really don't care about anything else happening on the field. I have my troops in position. He's got his own men moving around to the sides. But one-on-one in terms of cavalry, and with Yari cavalry against basically vanilla fire cav, we're in pretty good shape. Now, I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to do here. I wasn't sure if he was trying to match my troops, as he knew that I have to move some Yaris in there, or what. But you'll see him kind of pause over here for some reason, right about there, as the rest of his troops move forward. In the meantime, my cavalry continues to win over here, slightly. Slightly. His troops are shaken, mine are pretty steady, we're pretty good. As his own bowmen move forward, I move my own bowmen to match his. And kind of wait for him to, how do I put this delicately, well, waste his time a little bit more. As you can see in the upper left over there, his fire cavalry begins to retreat, overwhelmed. My own troops are a little bit abused, so I could pull them back a little bit. And over here on his right and my left, my Yari cavalry hits his in the flank. First things first, if you know the troops are there, always prepare for a flank. See this area of forest right here? My troops can either be facing to the inside for his forces, his troops can be facing outward for an entire thing. Deploying your troops at a 45-degree angle in this direction is a waste. Complete and total waste. Also, if you're going to be stuck in a exchange of fire, loosen your troops up a little bit. Your men will thank you for it later. As you can see already, I'm establishing some dominance. In the meantime, his troops are ready to flee. I'm in pretty good shape over here, but he begins to bring up his troops, his avatar bodyguard. And I realize at this point getting hit in the flank is a good way to lose all of my cavalry, so I back off a little bit. Seeing how he has the shrine, I want to increase the reload speed of my bowmen. They're already winning out, so might as well continue to fire, right? And as his own avatar gets close, I try to bolt as quickly as possible to safety. In the meantime, my sorely abused cavalry from before is retreating over here so that way they can kind of rest up, get themselves a little bit more confident, a little bit more in terms of health. And now, you'll see what it's basically a giant mistake on my part. I made the mistake of trying to capture the archery dojo, which is not a bad thing, but I exposed my own flank to his troops. You can see my own men are not going to thank me for it. What this does do for him, though, is it means that he isolates his own Avatar bodyguard and his own Yari cavalry. But his troops are already kind of abused and missing any kind of screening force on one side.
Our general is in grave danger, my lord!
That's not a good idea. You see, I've shifted my own Yari cavalry to kind of dominate the entire battle space on the left-hand side. I'm a little nervous that my katana samurai might retreat. So my own 3 units of cavalry should be able to take 2 of his, especially with some of his being as abused as it is. You see the flashing banner? Well, his Yari cav is already either running away or it's dead. And his own general is starting to take some hits as well. Now, he did do something right. While he presumed my entire focus to be over here on my left, he made an entire engagement, tried to move all his forces forward to engage along my line. Unfortunately, what he did not do is he did not concentrate his forces. Like I mentioned before, I have some Yari Ashigaru, I have some bowmen, I have some warrior nuns, and that's all I have. So, while his troops, I'm going to pause this for a second, while his troops are moving forward, and you'll see him start to engage all along my line, would have been way better served if he had charged through this gap right here and rolled up one side, cutting my forces in 2 and kind of defeating them in detail, sort of in a very kind of, was it Austerlitz style with Napoleon? Always being able to kind of hold troops on one side to keep my pressing troops away and completely wipe out things over here. As it is, he kind of waits too long in the first place to even get himself engaged, and his avatar, it says that he's winning over here slightly for the moment, but that will change shortly. Oh, sorry, that was mine. My apologies. But he's lost his general. His general's dead. He's gone. He's never coming back. And with Katana Samurai against slightly upgraded Katana Samurai, really don't much care. That works for me. In the meantime, his sword attendants do make a little bit of an impact on my lines. Swords do way better against spears, but at the same time, it's not going to be too incredibly amazing. And his Naginata attendants are going to do against mine as well over here. But you'll see, I haven't lost anybody so far. He's lost, what, 13-15% of his total force. And over here, the warrior nuns are definitely holding their own against his Katana Samurai. And finally, at long last, he decides to bring his Yari Ashigaru in, but they've been deployed way too late. Way too late. And against the wrong troops in the first place. Now, you'll see me make a bigger point to hit the archers in the flank, or in the rear rather. And that's all well and good. If you see over here already, his Yari Ashigaru is wavering. These guys are shaken. Yeah, my samurai are losing pretty badly. I kind of do a little okey doke. Oh, buddy, you're not going to do anything about that. Seeing that my samurai's ready to rout, I slam into him. So immediately his peasants run, his samurai runs, so the troops are running. I'm going to pause real quick so you can kind of take a stock of this map. Alright, so on the right side you have seen that my nuns are kicking some pretty good tail. They got these guys to rout. My Yari Ashigaru hasn't lost anybody, and they forced back these Naginata attendants. Bow Ashigaru, shattered. What was it then? How did these 2 groups of peasants stand up, both first of all to troops firing at them, as well as troops charging them? One is Yari Ashigaru and a spear wall have a kind of a slight buff to defense. Think of it as cavalry running into a phalanx from the front. It's not going to go well for the horse. And if you look over here, like I said before, the big mistake that he did make is one, that he took too long to move his Yari Ashigaru forward. If my horsemen are right there, you have to sprint spearmen in. Second thing is he spread out his troops, he spread out his strength too much along my line. While these guys are really good, sorry, not the bow, I'm trying to find there we go. The horde attendants and the Naginata attendants are certainly very good when fighting opposing infantry. They're really good against infantry when they're taking them in the flank or taking them in the rear. In a straight-up battle, numbers are going to start to tell. And if you hit a guy in the front, well, he's got a much longer weapon, it's like, hey, bro, bet you can't do anything about it. And he's going to get wrecked. Moving forwards, try to remember a couple things from this map. 1. Always remember to engage the correct forces against the correct opponent's forces. This is to say things like, hit spearmen with swordsmen, but hit them with an equal number of swordsmen, or if you have a smaller number, hit them in the flank. If you have cavalry, hit them with spearmen. Even better, hit them in the flank. But you know what? Spearmen against horses from the front is pretty darn good too. Another thing to mention, and I can't stress this enough, if you outnumber the enemy in a particular theater of the battlefield, you're going to wipe him out. As long as it doesn't have troops that are way higher quality than yours, that could be, warrior heroes or katana samurai when you just have peasants, like whatever you want to call it. Always make sure that quality is equal, that you have a greater numerical advantage. You'll thank them at the end of the day. Unfortunately, in the meantime, my opponent didn't really think about this at this particular battle, which meant that I was able to drive him off and secure myself a close victory. Not anything too wonderful, but at the same time a close victory. It's true, some of my units did get pretty beat up and bruised from it, but overall it wasn't too shabby for me. Whew. Alright folks, we've already covered the Kansas City Shuffle. Now we've covered kind of a vague envelopment as well as concentrating force. Tune in next time as we look forward at another battle of mine. I promise we'll start seeing some much more varied troop compositions and maps. But in the meantime, this is Con Ulrich signing off. So take it easy everybody and read your Art of War.